Good morning, El Camino del Diablo. We are in this beautiful camp in the wide open. We had a beautiful sunrise this morning. It was really nice. Now I always say a Revel is 90% of whatever you want it to be, and that other 10% is you changing things or adding things and making it exactly what you want it to be. So I want to take a minute and have George and Adam take us through their vans and show us what makes their vans theirs and the things they've changed and modifications they've made, and just give us a run through.
Hey there, my name's Adam, and I've been traveling on the road now, doing the van life thing for about 3 years, covering most of the country as well as up into BC. And we're going to go ahead and take you on a little van tour. This is Eve, My Revel. So we'll start with the exterior. Again, Winnebago Revel, originally purchased on October 1st of 2019. And since the acquisition, definitely did a lot of upgrades to the rig. Starting with immediately going down to San Diego, California to visit both Illumines and Agile Off-Road. Completely pulled off the stock rack and some of the other features to replace with the Illumines build, just for a little bit more robust usability overall, because I knew I was going to be putting a lot of weight up there. And then with Agile Off-Road, one of many upgrades through them. I think I've visited them multiple times now. The RIP kit, which has been indispensable. I'm also a really big fan of onboard air. So inside is the ARB air compressor, which is indispensable in the way of being able to deflate the tires when you're heading off-road and then reinflate when you get back to the pavement. That was a really big learning for me, is the ability to air down is, it's the magic. It's definitely a game changer. Like, it changes the trail aspects immeasurably and makes the ride so much more comfortable, especially when you're in a van that rattles a lot. You know, you got a lot of things moving around there. You air down, washboard becomes so much less of a concern. And then, of course, getting over diverse terrain is super helpful there too, as well as deep sand. So more recent, another upgrade from Illumines on the front bumper. A nice Baja light setup that's configured really well for different conditions. I did a little my own customizing by getting some wrap done. I really like the hood blackout. You know, there's no real functional element to it, but it looks kind of fun. Also brought the wrap in around the sides to sort of customize the feel a little bit. Illumines ladder. This plate here, which I get a lot of funny questions about, is nothing really more than an aesthetic ad, because I caught a tree off-road at one point and it gashed the side of the van. So underneath here is a big old piece of damage that would have cost a fortune to replace the entire panel. So put in this little kick plate as a defense against both how that looks as well as when you're going up the ladder. So kind of an unusual little ad. Eve is the next level Revel. This was just sort of what came my way when I was getting an IG persona, and I was like, hey, that rhymes, that's kind of fun, and now I've since fully adopted it. And you can see I did a little customization there as well, and Eve is represented also, just for fun. Got the Max Tracks at the ready, have used those many times, thankfully more often to help others get out of sticky situations. Rather than myself, although I have had my turns as well. But those are another indispensable ad for the overlanding experience. Let's see. So in my two side cases, this side, the drive side, is all recovery. Have some overland gear guy organization going on here, which is pretty cool. But everything at the ready that I use most often, as well as tools and everything to that effect. A nice ladder, just in case. That comes in handy. Here you get your first peek at the interior. This is actually kind of a nice point to speak to. This is a build out that I did design work on, and then my buddy John Arruda completed design aspects, and his company, J. Arruda Furniture, really exceedingly skilled craftsman, and as you can see, built out a really nice sort of solution for what I wanted in the way of organization. and aesthetic as well. It kind of makes it a little bit more homely back here with the wood tones. You can see here, this is my sort of back office, if you will. So if the views are out this way, and that's where I want to be spending my time, I set it up here so that one of the drawers incorporates a little desk. I keep all my, desk materials inside the drawer, but, that has a nice breakaway aspect to it. Oh, I got a nice little sticker I got to put up still, stickers. Yeah, so this is where I'll spend some of the time when I'm doing the computer thing or the design thing or whatever it may be. And then, yeah, everything is exactly as I had pre-planned before I even set out on the journey. So, I have clothing. Over here is all my camera equipment is stashed in this zone. So again, in a place that I can get to stuff really quick if I need to. The setup also features what I call my redundancy straps. So just in case you're off-road, I found some of these heavier drawers can come flying open. So built out this elastic strap system that retains everything when you're really hitting it hard in the backcountry. Some other organization. So I don't lower my bed all the way down like some people do because I wanted to take advantage of this space. So I have some additional cabinetry here that I can stash things on these nice little compartments that are on sliders. And then I reconfigured my mattress too, which we won't be able to go into too detailed, but it's on hinges. So my mattress, when it comes down, it drops down onto these panels on the sides. So I can always have my bed made, and I'm not utilizing those kind of extra panels that were built into the original design. Yeah, I think that's it for back here. I carry around my Oru kayak. This is one of my all-time favorite pieces of gear. This is just every time I build it and put it away, I'm like just amazed at the ingenuity and design brilliance of this. Very seaworthy. I've gone multi-day touring with it, which isn't what it's designed for, but it's really nice that it packs away and it stashes right up here on my cabinet top. You can see I have it lashed down. It stays in place off-road, and I can still access everything I need to back here. So really nice if you're going to be backcountry to have that capability of folding and putting away the kayak. And you always got to have your burner vest. This is Carmen, my burn vest, because you never know. All right, coming around the other side. On the passenger side cabinetry, this is where I keep the case. This is all my quick access stuff like chair and table, and try to keep it light in here because oftentimes there's a couple bikes up here. But again, really nice till you get to camp and boom, you have all your stuff out, your blankets or whatever it may be. And it's nice because then it keeps stuff outside of the interior of the vehicle, so you have a lot more living space. You would also notice that I have a roof box. Up in that box goes things like backpacking gear, climbing gear, bike stand, stuff that I use occasionally, and again, indispensable for getting stuff out of the living space. With that, we can move to the inside. Starting with, of course, moving when you're inside and you want to be out. Winnebago did a really nice ad by having the pivot down table. I have since added Voyager VanWorks, kind of tonal, really nice woodcraft to kind of upgrade and bring some, aesthetic to the build as well. You can see I have the matching tables here as well. And then that brings us inside. One of the things when I first started out that I wanted to achieve was, again, bringing some of that home kind of feel, that texture and art. I was really a big fan of collecting masks and artwork in my own home before I sold that. So you can see I brought in, the aesthetic of little masks and whatnot. Did a reupholstering to bring in colors that I really enjoy. And then that translated into some of the products that I've helped design. So one of the things that's been really important to me when I was moving into the van was how do I maximize space that isn't yet utilized by bringing in sort of accentuators that are both aesthetically pleasing as well as exceedingly functional. I think of that as the magic equation. So one of my most favorite pieces to that end is the center console that I developed here, did design on, and again, J. Aruda Furniture did the build. So you can see it fills out this center space really well. It utilizes it as a place for storage. I'll lean in here, and so you can see how it provides ample room for all kinds of goodies that you might want to get to either while you're driving or when you're at your camp. Quick access zone up front there. And then this is actually what is now a first iteration of something that I'm working on. And ultimately my goal is to bring these items to market so that others might enjoy. The company will be Next Level Overland, and we're hoping to launch a little bit later this year. So something to look forward to. And with that, also kind of speaking to that aesthetic and how do you bring some homeliness and liveliness to the space. I worked with my friend Justine and her company Zalia Designs to create this cap for the cabinet doors. You can see it's actually just a piece that sits right on top of the cabinet door, so you don't have to replace the whole thing. It's just adhered with 3M, but this was a custom design that we worked on together. And then she does all of the laser cut and inlay herself. Really amazing craftsperson. And yeah, we're also hoping to work together to bring several designs to life that folks can put in their vans as well. Mountain scene, wolf, even custom will be possible, but that'll of course be quite a bit more cost. But if that's something someone's looking for, we're hoping to bring that to life. The artwork being that it's either gifted or actually was made by friends. You can see a lot of these watercolors in different spaces. There's one down here as well. Those were actually pieces of art that were done for me. I used to guide, and some of the people that I'd guide would give me these works of art at the end of the trip, and I was always very flattered. And so it became perfect for my living space. One of the other items that is that whole notion of how do you maximize utility of unused space is what I call the galley hand shelf, and you can see it here deployed, and it holds quite a bit of weight and creates an extra space within the galley to place things so that they're out of your way while you're cooking. And then during travel, this folds away real nice, utilizing this cabinet end here, and then it has been set up so it has cushioning so it doesn't rattle while you're riding. But at the moment you get to your camp, quick deploy, you pop that down, and you have this extra working space, if you will. So that's kind of a fun one. This was actually the first piece that John and I worked together to develop and install, and I'm very proud of this one. And I have actually had this one on the market for a while now, but we will be doing some new iterations for newer versions of the Revel, as well as hopefully Storyteller. This also for me was one of the reasons why I chose the Revel as my van, because I'd done quite a bit of research, and this is where I landed in between the bed that moves down, and so you have the garage space, and those are the reasons why. However, I really don't ever use the shower on board because I use the outdoor shower in the back more often than not. But I still wanted to use the toilet because to me that's a nice thing to have regarding whatever the conditions are outside. So worked on developing these shelves that have breakaway components to them. So moved one of the bamboo shelves from Winnebago up, brought in my shelving system. So here I can still have storage space. You could utilize this in any number of ways. Different configurations are certainly possible. But what it enables is I can access the toilet at any given time while still having the storage space. And you have the little breakaways for your body and for your head, which is many find kind of humorous. I think it's already been coined the guillotine by a few people, but it's exceedingly functional. And this will be another item that I hope to bring to market someday for folks. And then I think last but not least, as far as what we've brought to life here in the way of add-ons, kitchen area in the Revel is, exceedingly functional, very helpful. Of course, on the newer models, they've pulled the induction top out of the working area. But for models prior to 2020, you have the exposed sink and the exposed induction top, which of course is glass. So what I wanted to do is also make this a working space. So I keep these toppers that fit, they wedge right on top of the stove top. Really stable, really sturdy, locks into place, protects that top from anything that might fall. And then also with the other one, it's a perfectly level plane. The other one fits precisely over the sink. And then you have a nice working space as well as protection for your glass toppers here. You know, at the onset of acquiring the van, was definitely considering what are my options for audio. I'm a big audiophile. I love fidelity, and you know, the stereo that comes stock with the van is okay, but only okay. So I was trying to think what is the upgrade that I'm going to bring into play. And of course, at first I was conceptualizing all kinds of really fancy setups, you know, with speakers throughout the rig. You know, probably something pretty high-end, knowing me. But in the end, with that notion of I want everything to serve dual purpose, I was like, how can I have a setup that both enables listening interior, enhanced listening interior, as well as exterior? So I landed on the Bose speaker system, where you can link the two speakers to either have party mode or stereo mode, so you get true stereophonic sound. And then that way I can utilize these both interior and exterior. And you can see here I have the speaker mounted security camera mounts so that it's static when I'm off-road, it doesn't go anywhere, and I can listen to the stereo music. And then when I get to camp, all I have to do is unscrew this. That's this security camera mount there. And then we can move outside. So then outside you can see here, I installed these hooks. They're on magnets, so they fold away real nice when you're on the road. But then I can deploy these and then set up my speakers to either side, playing in stereo, pushing the music out to wherever everybody's socializing or hanging out or I'm relaxing or whatever it may be. So again, enabling that dual purpose. The stereo system is now both internal and external, and I have valued that to no end. It has certainly become habit that, as Peter and others can attest, as soon as I get to camp, I'm like, I hope everyone's ready for music, because it is like on. Yeah, that's about it. It's been fun taking you on a little tour through Eve, the Next Level Revel. Bye, everybody.
Okay, hey, I'm George. This is My Revel, and I'm going to give you a quick tour of it. It's pretty dirty right now, but it's a full-time off-road home, so it's always dirty. Okay, so as you can see, I got this custom pinstriping yesterday. Thanks very much. We had Agile add some recovery points to the front of it and put a winch on, and then before I got out of there I also had big lights, which I didn't think would really come in handy, but I don't see very well at night anymore, and they've been a real good addition. We did the suspension, put a little lift on that, give us a little more clearance, not a whole lot, just a couple inches, and we added some skid plates underneath. And move the ladder to the side. Over the stock ladder mounts in the back, but you can't use it in the back. You have to relocate it and move it around to the side. And these modifications allow it to just hang there 24/7. And it's a much sturdier platform to climb on. And back here, this is a giant e-bike. Because I'm an old dude, I need a little bit of help getting going in the morning, and it's been fantastic. It's getting me back into shape, and I carried on a Kuat bike trailer, and it's pretty nice. I can still open the back door with it. A little complicated, but not too bad. And there you go. So that's the e-bike. And as you can see, inside the Revel is stock. I've not done anything with the garage area other than throw stuff in there. We got a little bit of extra water from Mexico. a cooler, you know, tents, sleeping bags, air mattresses, whatever you might need to add people on the trip as you go along. Stargazing chair, and that's pretty much it for the back. No mods, absolutely stock. Let's take a look inside. So this, obviously the captain's chair, for me, this is where the magic happens. This is what lets you get out on the road in your traveling home. I use the Garmin Overlander quite a bit, and that's about it for navigation. I do like paper maps, and I have plenty of those. Every little empty cubby's got a map in it. And then you come back here. This is the little galley area. The stove is an induction stove that stows away here. All of your essential controls are here, the inverter, tank levels, solar. And this is why I got the Revel over other vans. This gives you both the shower, the toilet, and for me, storage space. I don't use the shower very often, but I do use the toilet every day. And so that's become handy. I added, with the help of my sister, I added this felt fabric to the bottom of the shelf so I could put patches on there. And pretty much all the patches are from national parks I've been to over the last year. This is where we keep all the crystal, or actually we keep eggs and bacon and water, iced tea. So, and what can I tell you about it? What I like best about the Revel is when you're traveling, now this is coming from 2 years on a motorcycle. When you're traveling, you can just stop, come back here, fix dinner, put the bed down, go to sleep. You never have to go outside and set up camp. And that is fantastic in inclement weather. And then when you wake up in the morning and it's cold, rainy, whatever, you can just move on. You don't have to go out and deal with frosty, wet tents and gear and chairs. So I like being mobile. So when I picked up the Revel, I picked it up in Nebraska, and in the 2 years I've owned it, I've traveled Mexico, mainland, Mexico, Baja, western coast of the US, into Canada, Trans-Canada Highway, Labrador, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, down the East Coast, and then back around, back out west again. So I don't know how many states, probably 28, 30 states, 3 countries, and 48 national parks. So there you go. This is a stock Revel with 100,000 miles on it in 2 years.